We're in the last two couple of fingers that we're missing. And we were talking about the importance of being able to negotiate properly with the clients, right? Like here, I'm just gonna be using same technique that we've been using, the clay buildup and stuff. But I do want to make sure that you guys understand, or at least I want to give you a little bit of an overview of how to deal with all of this stuff, because a lot of people learn the 3D, they know how to do cool stuff in ZBrush, Maya, Blender, everywhere. But once it comes to the business side of things, we're sometimes left like abandoned pretty much, right? Like there's not a lot of content out there that can teach you how to be a good entrepreneur or whatever. And for instance, with the things you're learning here, you could be doing this thing right here, like you could be doing a statue for someone, and of course you need to charge them, and then you need to recover some of the costs that you're going to be investing into this kind of things. So it would be like really difficult for me to give you guys a specific amount of dollars or money that you should charge for things like this, because it will depend on where you live, your capabilities, how fast you are, etc., etc. But what you do need to try and understand is that this thing that we do, like this skills that we have as 3D artists, they're not common, okay? They're not common skills. So that means that you can charge, of course, more than a normal, like regular traditional job would try to charge for. The other thing is you definitely need to take into account all of the tools that you need to be able to deliver things like this that we're doing. So if you're going to 3D print, you need to cover the resin, you need to cover the printer, you need to cover your licenses, you need to cover, of course, all of the time that you invest in doing the sculpture and doing something. And my best advice, one of the best advices that I can give you, I had to learn this in a bad way. Always ask for an advance payment on your projects. It is sometimes not possible. Like there are certain clients, especially like big companies, they don't work that way. So they expect to be delivered the full thing and then they will give you the money. But if you're doing like something for like a particular client, like someone who's got like a private business, small business, try to always ask for an advance payment, because unfortunately there's a lot of conflict in the delivery of the art world. And the reason one teacher explained this to us is that when you think about something, like anything, if I tell you guys, think about like a purple elephant on top of a tree, everyone's gonna think of that concept in a different way, right? So some people might imagine a pine, some people might imagine like an oak, some people might imagine like a palm tree. Like there's a lot of different things, and the problem is, if a client says that they want something and then you deliver that something and it's not what was on their mind, you're gonna have a hard time like charging that client for the job. And I've had that experience several times throughout my career. And it's very uncomfortable and it's very unfortunate to get there. But yeah, one of the best ways to try and avoid that, or at least protect yourself a little bit, is by asking them for an upfront payment. Usually, I charge between 30 and 50% depending on the complexity of the projects, and that is pretty much a commitment, right, from the client saying, okay, I trust you as an artist, and I trust that you're going to be able to match what I want to be created, or what I see in my head. And once there's that level of trust, then you need to deliver, of course. You need to make sure to be a great artist and deliver something that they really like and that they're going to be happy with. That's where a really clean and clear concept helps a lot from the beginning. That's where having like weekly or bi-weekly reviews and works in progress is also really good, because they're going to be seeing how you're moving along and how the thing's looking before you jump onto the main areas of the production. You need to be very careful with this, guys. I encourage you to ask for advice if you need to, because unfortunately the business world, I would say it's very mean. It's a very competitive world, and people are out there just to get like the best profit for them, right? So you are going to find clients that are going to abuse the trust that you might place in them, and they're going to be like, oh yeah, I'll pay you, I don't know, $100 for this, and then you finish the job and they only give you $10, and they're like, oh, I'll give it to you later this week because we're waiting for a payment, and then you never hear back from them. It happens, and it's again very sad and very unfortunate that we live in a society that's it's like that, where people don't respect the artistic world as much sometimes. But you're also going to have amazing clients that are going to value. They're not going to ask for changes. They're going to love every single thing that you do. Those are the great clients that you need to keep, right? But in order to get there, of course, well, you need to get your name out there. So make sure to, again, always ask for an upfront charge, and and have like a little document. I use, whenever I'm working with a new client, I send them like a little Word document. I convert it to a PDF, pro tip, before sending, so they can't edit it. And there I specify all of the things that we're going to be working on, the amount or the amount of models that we're going to have, the deliverables, things that they're going to receive. Like for instance, if it's a render, I'm going to say, okay, you're going to receive like a movie with this length, at this like resolution, at this format. If it's like a model, I'm going to provide like the C2 file, or just the OBJ file, or just the retopologized file with UVs. Like, you need to specify all of those things. The more things you have in written, the better. Now, I'm not sure if in the country where you're watching from, it happens the same as it does here in my country. But here in Mexico, people are really scared of contracts. They feel like they're like signing a contract with the devil or something. I don't know why there's like so much fear about contracts. I think it's because they know that once there's a contract, they are like bound to follow the contract. And they are scared of that, right? Like, they're scared of something happening and then being left like abandoned or something. But if your country like supports the use of contracts, even like really like simple informal contracts, that's always a good idea, because those are going to protect you. It is very like rare for someone to get you to court or to sue you, because we usually, at least as a freelancer, you're usually going to be working on smaller size projects. You're not going to be working like for I don't know, like Disney doing the next Iron Man armor, right? Like, you probably might work for Disney, but it's not going to be like the main piece of the movie that you're going to be doing. And that's why people are like scared of contracts. They feel like it's like too much formality. At least here in Mexico, that's like the general consensus. So yeah, the contracts is a really good option. Upfront payment is a really good option to protect yourself. And then, of course, making sure, this is another rule of mine. Whenever I deliver the final image or the final render or the final whatever, I deliver a preview version of it. So let's say they ask for like a render or like this sculpture right here. I would send them screenshots, right? Like, here's the model's ready. The files are ready for 3D printing. I did my test. Here's the result. Now send me the final payment, and then I'll send you the final files. Because again, it's very unfortunate when you deliver the final product and then they take forever to pay you. Sometimes they don't. Like, I have a good friend of mine. I love him very much, but he's really a really bad client, and he asked for a commission a couple of weeks ago. And I told him, hey, that's fine. I won't even charge you what I normally charge. I'm just going to charge you for the material that I'm using. And that's it. It was a small quantity, and he hasn't paid yet. So I'm hopeful that he will eventually pay, because I do need to recover that cost. But yeah, it happens. So the way you can protect yourself is have everything in written, and be very clear. Just be very assertive, very communicate quite a bit on why you need all of the things that you need. And that's going to give you a nice, or it should give you a nice way to protect yourself. So there you go. You're not only learning about sculpting, you're also learning about how to approach clients. So there we go. I'm going to add some texture here on this like areas that we're seeing, just so that the hand looks a little bit more like fiber-ish. Like a lot of fibers right there. And then we just need to add little like breakup scales that we have, like here and there. These areas are usually like airbrushed, so that's why I'm not being super careful with the details, because I know most of these things are just gonna be like airbrushed, and all of this detail is gonna be covered with like gradients of paint instead of like painting individually each scale. They're gonna be more like general sections. Let me isolate this real quick so we can. There we go. Now, if you want, you can again just like give a little bit more texture here. We're not gonna see it, but if there's like a little bit of piece from the bandages that show, it might not be a bad idea to have this shape right there. There we go. There we go. And that's it. We're pretty much done with the forms of the hand. Now, one thing I definitely want to add are a couple of alphas to the hand. So I'm going to be adding those real quick in just a second. the next video we're going to talk about those details, because I do think we can benefit from having some like crazy looking alphas on a couple of areas. I'm going to flatten all of the scales. I'm going to get rid of some of that like banding that we have from the clay buildup. Let's flatten it out. There's no need to have as much. I do like that rough like effect that we have. That's it always looks, I don't know, I always like this sort of like a raw sculpture feeling that we can get on elements. But yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm gonna stop the video right here, and I'll see you back on the next one when we continue with the final details on the hand. Hang on tight, and I'll see you back on the next one. Bye bye.